490. Now we've just appraised it to 530.
Wow. And that's amazing. That's just in less than what, year and a half ish?
Just 1 year. 1 year. So the first year was 490. The second year is 530.
Thank you for joining us at Find My Real Estate Studio. It was wonderful to have you here today. Before we get started and actually, understand your real journey with Find My Real Estate over the last 2 years, do you want to give a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. So yes, hi Anubhav. Nice again connecting here. So I work with a bank here in New South Wales, Sydney. So I'm based out of Sydney and I've been in Sydney for a few years now. Moved from India in 2017 and settled in Sydney. So Sydney is my home now. Yeah. And
of course, Sydney, it's such a fast market when the way things work in Sydney when it comes to property buying, selling, and so forth. So I believe before you got started with Find My Real Estate, you had bought your own property. You lived in your own property in Sydney. And then 2 years ago, you wanted to start your investment journey. So what was the real kick of using buyer's agents as opposed to doing it yourself at that point in time, knowing that you knew Sydney?
Couple of things. Yes, I wanted to go a bit out of Sydney, right? Because Sydney is pretty expensive, as people know it. One thing, and then probably I assume that there are buyer's agent or this job is meant for specific people, so I shouldn't be taking their role. And I did not have enough time to go around, shop and look for properties and then select one of them. So I felt if there is a profession and a person involved or an agency involved which can do the job for me, I would rather prefer going through an agency, which I did.
Fantastic. So the fact that you save so much time, effort, energy, and as you said, I didn't have time to go research myself. What would you tell people, those who actually have those skill set or even have time? Do you think that it is still worthwhile going to a buyer's agent and bring services like us than actually, doing it themselves?
100% sure. We should. One thing, we've got pockets of profession. Okay, I cannot be a plumber. I cannot be a carpenter. I cannot be a banker. I can only be one of them, right? I cannot be all. This is one point. The other is I cannot go into two different states on the same day, right? For example, one in South Australia or one in Queensland or one in New South Wales. I cannot be present at 3 different places on the very same day, right? Whereas if I engage a buyer's agent and he might have people who can be present for us at the same time on the same day in 3 different states, right?
Yep. Absolutely. So basically it is maximizing your time to go in parallel in the market with multiple markets at the same time and
correct.
Seeing the value come through that way. So Truptesh, in your case, of course, you hadn't started the investment journey, and I know that you chose Find My Real Estate to be your partner in this journey. So why Find My Real Estate? Why not any other buyer agent? Knowing that you're in Sydney, we are predominantly in Melbourne, but you still chose us over others. What was the reason for that?
Oh, this is a good question and a tricky one as well. Find My Real Estate probably. So I did a Google search, and based on the past reviews from Google, so I think nobody referred me, number one. So it was a gamble that I played. Okay, let me put it this way: it was a pure gamble, and I chose to go with Find My Real Estate based on just Google reviews.
Wow, that's amazing. I like the way you use the word gamble in your journey of investment, which is really so important for you to be able to crack it and get yourself going. Now,
right.
That was 2 years ago when you thought this was a gamble. How do you feel now after 2 years, after buying 2 properties with Find My Real Estate?
Oh yes, so not just one, we bought 2 with FMRE, 2 properties with FMRE in the last 2 years. And to be very frank, they have been quite professional, knowledgeable. Like FMRE team, they answer all your questions. You call them, ask the most nice question, and they have an answer to it. So basically, that builds the confidence, that builds the customer relationship. It just adds value to, or it gives you a privilege to talk to them, and it is fun working with them.
That's amazing. I love the fun that you said, because we try to make it as comfortable as possible for our clients to step into the journey, which itself is quite daunting. Because if someone is buying their property for the very first time, let alone canvassing the markets, it's more about the fear of holding them back, right? That am I going to do this? Like I said, it was a gamble for you to, just take a punt at someone whom you're going to engage, but you felt comfortable. So what led you to say yes for the engagement, whilst you said it is a gamble? There is a form of a risk there that you're engaging someone who you've never done that before, but and you went clearly on your Google review. But what was that confidence point during the discovery that you felt, no, this is the team, and I think I'm putting my money with the right partner to help me with this journey? What really changed your mind to say yes to us?
Yes, I think FMRE has this armchair service which my wife and I attended, and so it was one-on-one session with Anubhav, and there were steps listed down. It was not a haphazard process, or there was a process. There were steps to a journey. That entire journey was carved beforehand and was explained, very well explained, that this will be the steps when you engage us in buying a property, right? So that gave me confidence to engage FMRE.
Perfect, thank you. So you felt like coming from maybe a technology background, the process driven activity helped you sort of, maybe
that's coming up.
There is somebody who is serving their clients the same way I would like to get served, and have clarity in the process. Love it.
Agree. That resonates with my profession as well. So agree with you with the description.
Absolutely. So before we even started the journey of buying the properties, we obviously end up looking at you as a profile, and we say, okay, well, Truptesh and Asargi, this is your situation, this is where you are, and where you want to be, and what's your why for investment. So what in this journey that we have commenced over the last 2 years, and it's still a very early stages of trying to achieve the end goal, but what is the goal that you're trying to achieve with FindMy Real Estate over the years to come?
I think the most important is building wealth when I retire, right? Yeah. So I'm sure my kid or my kids will earn their own, or they'll be self-sufficient. But then when I retire, because I come from an Indian background where my parents could get pension, but our jobs are not pensionable. So I need to have a source of income when we retire, husband and wife, and then also have plans to roam around the world. So see the world, and that's where this journey starts.
Amazing. And that is the why for many people, that creating an passive income, multiple sources of income on the side, and build wealth alongside can actually help them achieve the right outcome when they are ready to retire. And we call that modern retirement at FindMy Real Estate, as you know. So it's bringing the choices to you, whether you want to travel, whether you want to work, whether you want to continue doing what you do, what you like. But it's also having that money coming in for you as passive as possible. So You've started a journey with a couple of residential properties right now, right? And of course, we do serve, we want to get to the passive income component at some point in time in this journey. Now, with your experience with buying your first property and then the second after a year, your first property was bought in South Australia, right?
Yep. That's right.
And we did that in July 2023, I believe, around that time frame. And then the property has grown, I believe right now around anything between 10 to 12%.
Yes.
In just 24 months. And then we've had another property that we bought for you. After 1 year, you re-engaged us to help you buy another property in Queensland. And property has literally just settled about a couple of months ago, but in short 4 months, that's already up 5% in growth as well. So how are you feeling with this outcome? So
good one. Now this one, okay. So growth, yes. Somebody buys a property expecting that the property will grow, doesn't mean that it will grow. Okay. So again, we played a gamble. Like we've seen a lot of properties actually. So Amit Singh from FMRE was kind enough to show us nearly 20 odd properties, of which we selected one. So and then that has paid off. The selection of that property has paid off over a period of time.
Yeah, and then of course that journey of buying 20 properties that you said, right? And you saw 20 properties. were you very nervous in actually selecting a property for yourself?
It is a daunting task selecting a property. Like you need a location, or probably because you're not aware, or because it was my first investment property. So the location, the commute to the station, the commute to the CBD, or what's the source of economy, what is the economy, how do people survive, what's the banking, what's the financial sector doing, what are the other sectors. So a lot of questions, but then Amit and FMRE team were kind enough to answer all of them and provide a good spreadsheet of the analysis behind selecting a property.
Interesting. So in your second property with Queensland, now that you knew how the process worked and everything else, how many properties did you see in Queensland before you chose your Queensland property?
I think Queensland, we were quick to make a decision. I think we hardly saw 3 or 4, and we selected one of those 4, the first 4 properties that we saw.
And that's because you had the confidence in the team that we were showing you, or
so because it was my second engagement, I had that confidence, I had that level of trust already built with the team in FMRE, and that helped me make the selection faster and quicker.
Awesome, thank you. And so Truptesh, just to wrap this up in the right way for yourself as well, we are at 2 properties right now, and of course continuing the journey to build your portfolio with both commercial and residential along the way. What would you tell the viewers, that one thing that they should choose FMRE over others that you felt after 2 transactions right now?
One thing that I've noticed from FMRE is that you've got guys sitting in Perth, South Australia, Queensland, Adelaide. So you've got guys all over the place, right? Whereas somebody else would only be concentrated to a particular region or a particular area. You can diversify your portfolio. The first one I bought in South Australia, the second in Queensland. So diversification of your investment properties.
Right. Awesome. And a lot of people right now are saying that I'm going to go and engage a buyer agent in Perth because they understand Perth better. Then I'm going to go and engage someone in South Australia because the local person knows South Australia better, and so is Queensland. So do you see any problem with that by engaging multiple buyer agents, or what would you say to people if you were doing it all within FMRE, one-stop shop, to be able to do that?
So one thing, you've already established a working relation with FMRE or a particular buyer agent in that case. Why would you want to again redo the entire steps, go through the process of building that trust, building that confidence in another one, when you already have a person or a team you can trust and you know them, right?
And trust plays a big factor actually in anyone. It's all about gelling with the service person.
Agree. It's building an ecosystem basically. So you take an example of Apple. Once you start using Apple products, you don't want to use another Android product, right? And just confuse things. So it's an ecosystem. So once I've started using FMRE, I don't want to go through the process of understanding the steps, understanding or building that relationship, building that trust, building that confidence again, when I know I already understand the operating model of FMRE.
Awesome. So Truptesh, you're sitting at close to around $1 million purchase price between the 2 properties, $500,000 approximately around that price point that you bought that piece. And of course, it is getting a good yield of 5%, 6% plus for you as well at this stage. So in terms of your cash flow, are you too much negatively geared right now considering the interest rates are quite high? Or is it manageable?
I think it's manageable. I am negatively, like cash flow wise, yes, I'm negatively geared. But then I think it's manageable. So because these are early stages, early years, right? So the out of pocket is reasonable. I think we can manage.
Perfect. So this is, I think, the part of the strategy is to try to minimize the negative gearing as much as possible, even on a $500,000 type of properties for our clients. So in your first one, which was I think for 500 or 550,000 that you bought a property in South Australia, what is the current rent on that property?
So I used to be getting 490. Now we've just appraised it to 530.
Wow. And that's amazing. That's just in less than year and a half ish?
Just 1 year. So the first year was 490. The second year is 530.
Yeah. So you bought the property for 510 and then that's 530 rent, which is over 5% yield, which is really good. So I think this rent will continue to keep going up, and that helps you in reducing your negative gearing as well. So that's And your Queensland property that was purchased for 530-ish, I believe.
530-ish, yes.
And what's the rent on that one?
So for that Queensland property, we're getting 550.
550. So I think they're really good rents to help you hold these two investments. And as the years come past, we are hoping, of course, interest rates will do its magic at some point in time in the next 12 months. And that would actually help alleviate some of this negative gearing. But how confident do you feel to even now step further into building the portfolio, keep going, even for that matter, if you have to take a step at looking at commercial as well?
No, for sure. Like commercial or even getting a third one, probably not a residential work, is on my radar, but not too soon. So in FY25, 26 probably, we may reach out again to FMRE for the third one, and it could be a commercial now this time.
Amazing, awesome. I love it, and this is really why we talk about the journey, Truptesh, because you've had the taste of the first one. You were fearful. You build the confidence with the team, build the confidence in the type of property you're buying. You've held the property for a year and a half being your first one, and your second one now for nearly 4 to 5 months. So, and now you're talking about buying the third one in another 12 months. So that will balance your cash flow and help you with your growth as well. So, we are stepping into a point where we are building that portfolio from $1 million onwards to say close to $2 million and then $2.5 million slowly, gradually, with providing the support. Is that giving you a vision that your next 10 years or 12 years, the goal that you have, the why that you have, can you see that becoming fruitful in the next few years for yourself?
I'm sure, yes, they will be.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Truptesh, for your time. And it was lovely having you here on the studio. We really thoroughly enjoyed talking to you.